In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to shoot a bow and arrow the way Ishi did. Now, the way I was taught to shoot, and most people nowadays, is when you put the arrow on the string, you put the arrow goes on the left side of the bow, if you're right-handed, and draw and aim and shoot like this. Now, the Northern California tribes would shoot this way. They'd switch the side so that the arrow actually rests on the right side of the bow. And that's the way they would shoot.
In this view of the bow hand, the arrow is held between the first and middle finger. When the arrow is drawn, the first finger retracts so the middle finger becomes the arrow rest.
Now, the grip is something pretty unique. Your thumb hooks underneath the string, underneath the knock, like that. Your middle finger comes down over your thumbnail to strengthen the grip, and then your pointer finger comes down and squeezes the knock against your thumb joint, like that.
Here's the view from the shooter's perspective. Thumb hooks the string under the knock, the middle finger presses against the thumbnail, and the pointer finger is curled and presses the arrow against the thumb to hold it in place. When the bow is drawn, the middle finger is simply lifted off the thumbnail to release the arrow. Upon release, the bow, if held lightly, will rotate in the hand. The handles of the Indian bows from Northern California were specifically designed for this shooting style. The center of the grip is the narrowest, which corresponds to exactly where the arrow rests when shooting this way. This minimizes arrow deflection upon release. Here I'm shooting my replica hoopah bow using the correct shooting technique.
Now, this type of shooting technique is really awkward for me, having been brought up shooting English longbow style. But if you want to try to shoot this way and learn it, I recommend getting a very lightweight bow. This is one I actually practice with. It's a little kid's bow. It only pulls 18 pounds, but it allows you to practice the grip, the draw, and the release without having to struggle to fight a powerful bow, which makes it much more difficult. Now, one of the most important aspects of this shooting technique is how you saw when the bow rotated in my hand upon release. That's actually a very important part of this shooting style, because the moment you release, that handle is dropping down out of the arrow's path. If the bow doesn't rotate in your hand, the arrow tends to glance off the handle and fly really wildly. But if you do it right, and you hold that bow lightly, and you draw and release, the bow will rotate in your hand and you'll get beautifully clean arrow flight.
This shooting style also uses a much shorter draw than our modern archery technique. My normal draw length is 30 inches, but with this technique my draw is only 26. This shooting style was used by numerous Northern California tribes, including the Hoopah, Karuk, Yana, Wintu, and Yahi. If you'd like to learn how to make one of these fascinating bows, I've released a DVD showing every step from start to finish. It can be ordered from my website, primitivepathways.com.